Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week it begins this holiday season. It's coming up. Many families don't have the means to have a traditional holiday meal. Sam's ministry is having a donation drive to help people in need. And joining us is their Chief Development Officer, Nikesha Baker. Nikesha, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us about this Homelessness Awareness Week.
So Homelessness and Hunger Awareness Week started in 1975 at Villanova University, and communities across the country participate in this recognition of families who are really living on the fray, living paycheck to paycheck, and often having to decide between whether to buy a meal or pay their rent. And so that's the highlight of Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week.
And so what can we do locally to help this week?
So SAMMinistries is one of many agencies that's hosting events and donation drives during this week. We are specifically working to ask the community to join us in providing a holiday meal for families. So those who come to SAMMinistries often have nothing more than what they can carry. A few clothes, maybe a few toys for kiddos. They don't have the means to prepare a meal. So we're asking for a recipe in a pot donation, which includes the recipe card, and then all of the ingredients, both perishable and non-perishable, including the pot, the pan, and the spatula, or whatever utensils you'd need to make it. We want to help families turn mealtime into something that they can consider a fellowship opportunity rather than a challenge.
And I think that, you know, in my time dealing with stories dealing with the homeless, people think of some of the people on the streets, but there's an entirely different other face to homelessness.
Absolutely. So there are so many folks who are couch surfing. So they're staying with a friend for 2 or 3 nights and moving on and staying with a family member for another week or so. We call those couch surfers. They're actually homeless. They don't have a fixed permanent address. And there is an increasing population of families who are living in their cars or taking advantage of emergency shelters because they don't have the means to pay rent. The affordable housing crisis here in San Antonio is a tremendous obstacle for many families, again, who are living on the fray. So they're not just the panhandlers that you see on the street asking for money. There are so many other folks who are homeless in our community and need our help.
So if we want to help, where should we go? Where should we take our items, our recipes? Where do we go?
So our recipe in a pot donation is being facilitated at our Sam Express donation station, which is at 910 Oblate Drive, right next to Oblate Cafe. Or you can visit SAMMinistries online at sam.org for other opportunities to help.
All right, thank you so much for doing
this. Thank you again
for the homelessness and what you all do every day. And thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
More Eyewitness News is coming up in just a moment.